How's it going, you outlaw legends? I'm Red Nitrate, and welcome into my full review of the 1.03 patch for the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. News about the latest update broke about half a day ago when Rockstar posted on their social media pages informing us of a new patch now available for PC and all consoles except for Nintendo, which should be receiving it in the next few days. When we hop over to the Newswire link, we can start to observe a few of the changes that have been made, starting with general fixes for all games, most notably stability improvements and the addition of the cinematic camera. However, as we scroll down, we get access to a very comprehensive breakdown of the patch notes available for all three games. Now, I was honestly blown away by this. Rockstar said that there were going to be big patches coming, but the amount of changes documented in this article is absolutely staggering. It actually took me quite some time to go through it all and absorb everything that had been changed. Granted, there's still a lot that needs to be done, but I definitely think that this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, I won't bother reading all of this out line for line, or we'd be here for literally hours on end. Instead, I'll be covering and reviewing what I feel is the most important updates in this patch, based on both my opinion and the response I've gauged from the community. If you want to read any of this stuff in detail, simply pause the video and do it at your own pace. Alternatively, if you enjoy nerding out on all of this stuff like I do, I'll link the official Newswire patch notes in a pinned comment down below, and you can check out every little detail of what's on offer. The first change I'm going to look at is arguably the most complained about element of all of the trilogy glitches, and that's the rain. When the trilogy released a few weeks ago, the first thing that a lot of us were greeted with when booting up GTA 3, or really any of the games, was some of the worst looking rain that I've ever seen. Not only did it look ugly, but it obscured visibility almost to the point of being totally blind. But I can happily say that, as you can see here in this comparison of the opening cutscene for GTA 3, the rain has been drastically improved. Finally, we can actually see again, and enjoy the remastered environments in varying weather conditions like we were supposed to. On top of that though, there was also a very annoying glitch in all three games, where during cutscenes the rain would continue to fall, even when inside the interior of a building. Fortunately, this has also been fixed, at least for the most part it has. Judging by the patch notes, it's a thing that they've had to fix individually in each of the affected missions, so it might take them a while to get it all sorted. While we're still on GTA, let's talk about another very exciting change, and that is Rockstar have finally added unique sound effects for the menu systems in GTA 3 and Vice City. Prior to this, the menu systems in all three games shared the same sound effects as the ones used in San Andreas. I totally accept that this might not have bothered everyone, but as a big fan of the classic trilogy, and someone who appreciates the individual charms of each of the three games, I feel that this was necessary. Each game has its own feel and style, and I think that the menu systems need to reflect that as well. The next change we're going to be looking at is to do with the target outline that was originally forced to be displayed anytime that you would highlight or select an NPC like I'm doing here. This is a feature that wasn't in the original trilogy, and the decision to add it without any means of turning it off was a very odd call indeed. However, I've got some good news for you. It's now been rectified. When we come over to the gameplay tab of the options menu, you will now find a new option that says disable target outline, and if you turn that to on, and then come back to where we were before, you'll now find that the outline has been removed. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be happy about this one. Honestly speaking, I kind of got used to it in the end, and it didn't really bother me that much. But now that I've got the option, I think I will be turning it off. I can see it being a useful feature for some people, but I'm a creature of habit, and I think I'd prefer to go with what was in the OG versions. The next massive change I want to discuss is another one I know a lot of you are going to be very happy about, and that's to do with the mid-altitude fog that was always available in the original versions of GTA San Andreas. It always added to the ambience and vibe of the city, and its omission from the Definitive Edition was a very strange one to say the least. This screenshot that I've popped up on the screen now is a quick look at how the remaster looked before the patch. This is without any fog at all, and as much as the clarity is nice, it's meant to be based on Los Angeles, and we all know that their air doesn't look this clean. However, I'm happy to report that this one's also been fixed, and just like the target outline, it's been introduced as an option in settings. So if you come to the graphics tab here, you will see a new entry called Ground Haze, which is of course what you're looking for. If you decide to switch it on and come to a mid to high altitude point in the game, or really anywhere where the weather conditions are appropriate, you will be able to see a very visible and atmospheric fog like you can in the screenshot here. I'm so damn happy that they added this. I know it's going to appease so many people in the community, including myself. Next up on the featured patch items is the running and sprinting animation for CJ when at maximum fat and or muscle. In the original game, CJ had different running animations based on whether he was fat or skinny. Strangely, this was something that was missing from the original release of the Definitive Edition. Fortunately though, as this side-by-side comparison shows off, things have definitely improved. Chonky CJ has finally got his groove back, so to speak. Next up is texture and model improvements. According to the patch notes, there have been extensive improvements to texture problems, graphical glitches, and even the character model blunders displayed during cutscenes. Trying to go over every item one by one would take us almost forever, which is why I decided to include the patch notes in the comment section below. However, I thought I would address one of the most talked about graphical issues in the Definitive Edition, and that's the Tough Nuts Donuts bolt that was absolutely butchered in the remasters. For those of you who might not know what I'm talking about, Tough Nuts Donuts is a shop in San Fierro in San Andreas that had its sign all kinds of messed up when they upscaled the graphics in the updated games. Here's what it looked like in the original game, and then here's how it looked in the first release of the Definitive Edition. As you can see, something's not quite right. Yep, the once angular bolt is now completely rounded. This is something that drove the player base nuts. Not that it was any worse than any of the other things that we'd experienced, but it was just a very visual representation of everything that had gone wrong with the new trilogy. Well, I'm once again happy to report that this too has been fixed. I mean, modders got it fixed within hours and this took weeks, but hey, let's not split hairs, shall we? Honestly though, at this point, I'll take it. I'm just glad that they're finally getting something done. The final change that I'm going to be looking at before I get onto my opinions about all of this is of course the cinematic driving camera. And oh happy days, we've got it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited that they added this. It's honestly of a higher quality than I expected. It's incredibly smooth and a lot of fun to mess around with. There's some serious novelty factor in getting to cruise around like a madman, just seeing if you can make it from point A to point B without killing yourself in the process. Love this thing. Hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. In terms of what I think about all of this, it's a tough one really, and kind of a layered response. First and foremost, I'm just happy to see that Rockstar is at least now treating the trilogy with the seriousness that it deserves, but I'm truly worried that for some fans it might be too little too late. There have been so many complications with this release. All of the early bugs, game breaking or otherwise, the PC version of the game having to have sensitive files stripped, causing it to come out late, and then all of the glitches that have been discovered since then. It feels like the whole trilogy has been cursed, really, with the most recent announcement from Rockstar being the icing on the cake, stating that the release of the physical copies of the game have been delayed due to the massive overhaul that they've had to receive. So yeah, I think we're all a little tired at this point, and that's totally understandable. It's been a long, difficult road trying to manage our expectations and emotions surrounding the trilogy, but at least it's finally starting to get fixed. With these massive patches and Rockstar promising that there's more on the way, I truly feel that we might be on a path to getting these games to the point that they deserve. And I mean really, isn't that what we all want out of this? I know it's been a bit of a draining experience, but for those who haven't been turned off it completely, I'm hoping that we can all stick by it and get the GTA trilogy up to an acceptable standard. These games mean the world to me, and more than anything, I just want to see them get to the point where the community can properly enjoy them. What do you all think though? I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Situations like this are very divisive, and I love hearing differing opinions from within the community. Also, if you find any new bugs out there as a result of the new patch, be sure to let me know about that as well. But that'll be a wrap for today, folks. If you did enjoy the video, please tap the thumbs up button down below, and if you are new around here, then definitely think about subscribing as well. I plan on covering just about everything the GTA Trilogy has to offer, along with my usual Red Dead Redemption 2 and other Rockstar Games related content. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Red Nitrate. Stay legendary, everyone. Bye now.